Gruden's responsible for Carr. This is a guy that traded Khalil Mack. This is a guy that has bloviated about Derek Carr is everything to us. Now, obviously, he wasn't the man that paid Derek Carr $125 million, but clearly he's given every indication that it's something that he would support. And I'm not sitting there and dismissing Derek Carr as being a quality quarterback in the National Football League. A couple of years ago, I thought he was an MVP candidate. Clearly not the case last year, and certainly not the case thus far this season. But I think when you look at him right now, he's had games where he struggled this year. And when you look at it from that perspective, I think that if you're Jon Gruden, if you were just as hard on him, not to say that he hasn't been, because I thought he was right with what he said yesterday. You got to make a better decision than that. But what the hell are you doing making that call? Why are you making that call for Derek Carr to look to throw the football? Well, we thought we was going to have an open receiver. Really? Since when? Since when? Why did you think that? That close to the goal line, why would you make that call? You Marshawn Lynch, you take off your helmet, you go to the sideline. Why? Because it's reminiscent of what happened to you when you were playing with the Seattle Seahawks and Pete Carroll and Darrell Bevel elected to have Russell Wilson basically do the same thing instead of giving Marshawn Lynch the ball near the goal line. These are the kind of things that you would notice, particularly if you're somebody as astute of a football mind as Jon Gruden. So to make that call, you just sit there and shake your head and you're like, really? I look at Jon Gruden. I'm sorry. Anything that happens with the Raiders right now, I look at Jon Gruden because it's all about him at this particular moment.
I would say over the course of his contract, that's going to be exactly right. This is Jon Gruden's team, obviously. But right now, the answer is Derek Carr. Derek Carr's not that good, guys. Just not that good.
He hasn't been playing that good.
And no, I mean, he was, though. That's what's so weird about this.
Here's how I see Derek Carr. I put quarterbacks in different spectrums. Like, so, for example, you have the Tim Tebow, Deshaun Watson, Baker Mayfield spectrum. The college quarterback who just guys like to play for. He galvanizes the troops. But they're different levels of skill. Tebow had less technical skill than, say, Baker Mayfield, right? And Deshaun Watson fits in there somewhere. I think about quarterbacks like Mitch Trubisky or Jameis Winston or Blake Bortles, big, strong, athletic, high first-round picks who just aren't accurate enough down the field. And I think of Derek Carr in the Andy Dalton, Jay Cutler line. And it doesn't mean that Dalton's not a good quarterback. He is, but they're quarterbacks who have the kind of stuff that makes people believe this is going to be their year. I think Dalton's actually the best example of that. But Cutler, every year you would hear, guy, he's going to win the Super Bowl. He might win the MVP. No, he's okay. He's all right. He's just not that good. And Derek Carr, I think, fits into that category. He has all the stuff you're looking for that make you think he's going to be a good quarterback. And it's not that he's the worst quarterback in the world. He's just all right. He makes a lot of bad decisions. He has physical tools, and it all adds up to a package that is an NFL quarterback, but not the kind of guy you want to pay franchise money to.
Listen, I think when it comes to Jon Gruden, I think people have obviously piled on, and deservedly so, with the whole Khalil Mack thing.
Yep.
But we also, on the flip side of Jon Gruden, we also got to look at, okay, they got a bounty of picks. Let's see what those picks turn out to be. So I think we got to push pause on Jon Gruden. But when you look at Derek Carr, I think the big thing is people still had that thought in their head about 2 years ago with Derek Carr when he was playing like lights out. A lot of people thought that this guy, this guy is going to ascend to the elite level of quarterback, and we haven't seen that.
Lucky that year too. We haven't won a little close game.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, look, in football, you're going to have a little luck as far as football is concerned. Last year, he regressed, and everyone watching the Oakland Raiders will say that he regressed last year. In comes Jon Gruden, supposed to be the quote-unquote quarterback whisperer, and here he is sitting at throwing a league-high 8 interceptions.
What's he whispering? You suck. What's he whispering?
No, I think absolutely. Listen, the past couple years, this guy hasn't taken the necessary steps to think that, okay, he's going to be one of the upper echelon type of quarterbacks. And I think you're on to something here. He's starting to trend on, more towards Andy Dalton here. He hasn't really taken that next step to be an elite quarterback, what a lot of people thought 2 years ago.
Was that 1 year an anomaly and defenses just weren't used to him, and that's why he had so much success? I don't understand that.
Well, you got to say that right now, right? Because if you can't string together, solid years from a quarterback like Derek Carr, then what are you? You are what you are right now.
There's a couple of things we got to take into consideration. Number one, you have a defense that's ranked 29th in the league, 30th in yards allowed. You rank 28th against the pass. Your defense puts you in a precarious situation because you're constantly climbing uphill, which means particularly if you're the quarterback and if you're a head coach known as an offensive guru, then it's going to apply more pressure on you to produce and to try and overcompensate. And sometimes that leads to disaster. Jon Gruden's responsible for that because he ignored the defense by letting go. I'm just saying, I'm making my case about Jon Gruden being the focal point. I understand about Derek Carr, and I'm not saying anybody's wrong about what they're seeing, but we got to take the circumstances surrounding him to come to that point. You got the 24th ranked rushing attack. Marshawn Lynch is averaging 4.3 yards a carry. How come he ain't getting the ball more?
And carrying teams on his back to the end zone.
How about giving him the damn football more so you could take some of the pressure off of Derek Carr so Derek Carr wouldn't feel the need to overcompensate? But Jon Gruden doesn't want to do that. Why? And this is where Damien and Woody will appreciate this. One of the things that we lamented at the very beginning when you decide to let go of Khalil Mack, why? Remember we asked the question right on the show? Was that about the team or was that about him? It was about him because this is my franchise and I want to move forward. I happen to know several people who are very close to folks within the Raiders organization. It's a dysfunctional environment right there right now because you got Jon Gruden coming in there, provoking change.
Time out, Stephen. I got a question for you because you bring this up with Seattle too. Perception can become reality. If enough guys in the locker room think coach wants this guy to be a star instead of that guy, that can hurt a team. Do you think, though, I want to know from you, do you believe that is the reason that Gruden didn't give the ball to Marshawn Lynch?
Yesterday, I don't know, but I do believe what you just asked me is applicable to Jon Gruden when it comes to Derek Carr.